What's up guys, Drewzy here, back again with another best of video for the beginning of the week. Yet again, we are running short on topics here going in this series, as we've got Token this week, next week will be Dougie, and then we're out of cards that are currently in all four of the current themes. So we're going to have to wait until those other cards, and there are a handful of cards still left and characters that we don't have in all four, only in three. So when we get to that point, obviously we will do best ofs. I will do redo ones that I feel are necessary as the balance changes come forward in this game. But as of right now, we're going to talk about tokens. So let's just get to the first token card real quick and break down all four of them. So the first token from the adventure theme is Shaman Token. He is a common fighter card. All of Token's cards are fighter cards. 3 of the 4 tokens have charged abilities. One of them has a Warcry ability, which we'll get to that token here in a little bit. But for the fantasy themed Shaman Token, he is a high tier card. He currently has a 2 attack speed, which is the second, and he has one other upside to him other than just having a 2 attack speed is he has the second fastest first hit in the game. So one big thing is that all the characters, when they first, like you spawn them into the battlefield, they have an animation that goes on that then determines how fast they're going to hit first. He has the second fastest hit first speed behind Sheriff Cartman, who's in the same theme, in the adventure theme, in the game. So Shaman Token, when you cast him in, he almost immediately hits anyone on the battlefield. It's faster than all of the assassins and faster than every other card but Sheriff Cartman. So that's a key thing to keep in mind with Shaman Token is, although he doesn't have the greatest damage output, and then he takes 2 seconds each time he attacks after the first hit, if you got an assassin barreling down the battlefield coming at you, and you cast Shaman Token, boom, he's going to hit them first, and then in 2 seconds later he's going to hit him again. So he can pretty much 2-hit most assassins. With some fighter cards you can't do that. It takes 2 to 3, or it takes longer. So the assassin should only get about 1 hit on Shaman Token for his 2 hits. But some of the assassins at high enough levels do enough damage that will pretty much wipe Shaman Token almost out anyways. But just keep that in mind. His attack speed is a 2 attack speed after his first hit, which is the second fastest in the entire game. His total out damage at max rank is 56.1 damage per second. That's the 15th best out of all the fighters currently in the game, and 4th best out of all the tokens in the game. So he has the lowest amount of damage total output out of all the tokens. He does hit faster right away, but doesn't hit very hard after that compared to the other ones. He has, again, a charged ability which removes all negative effects to all allies, so essentially Purify, but it's all over the entire screen, and it's a charged ability which happens every, I believe, 8 to 10 seconds with him. So a charged ability is very nice, especially Shaman Token's charged ability. He's a pretty low cost at 3 energy cost, which is standard for most fighters. So he's got the decent energy cost, decent health, decent damage, lowest of all the tokens, however. And, you know, all around, it's a very strong card, very highly used card, especially in the higher tiers of PvP and the like the 40s and 50s and into Legendary. Probably in the lower tiers, you're not going to see him very much, especially because I believe you got to be 30 or 35 PvP just to unlock him. And then you have, in order to get his charge ability, he has to be at least, I think, level 2, almost level 3. Just to get the charged ability to remove the negative effects. But it removes any type of negative effect, does not matter what it is. And so a lot of people just like him just for the sheer fact that if they don't have Mystical in their deck, he's an instant Purify. And he purifies the entire screen, not just a specific area like Purify does. So that's also something to consider into consideration. But to me, Shaman Token is the second best token in the game right now. And again, we'll keep going through the list of 4, and I'll break down which one is the top one at the end. Our second token is Space Warrior Token. He's a rare fighter in the sci-fi theme, and probably a favorite of Kobe's Mind, as Kobe's Mind loves Space Warrior Token, has him in all of his main decks that he uses right now. But to me, I'm not as high up on Space Warrior Token as he is. He has this charged ability yet again where he rushes and strikes the nearest enemy, similar to Hercules Clyde and Dwarf King Clyde, which is popular. Dwarf King Clyde is very popular with a lot of you guys that play fantasy decks just because of that charge ability. Just charges across and does a lot of damage. Now his charged Warcry essentially is not going to be as devastating as War King Clyde's is, because War King Clyde's is a Warcry, which typically Warcries do more damage than a charged ability would, but it does do good damage. And the fact that he can charge anyone, so not only is it just the nearest enemy on the battlefield, if there's no enemies on the battlefield, he'll charge the enemy leader and do that damage to it, which can be very, very nice just to have that extra ability to discharge forward and almost take or have most enemy, health points essentially with that ability. His attack speed again is a 2 attack speed, similar to Shaman Token, well, identical to Shaman Token. It's the third best attack speed out of all the sci-fi cards, as most sci-fi cards do not have great attack speed. His total overall damage is 66 damage at max rank per second. That's the 9th best out of all the fighters currently within the game, and the 3rd best out of all the tokens. So again, he's towards the bottom tier as far as damage output of tokens, and he has a charge ability which can work very well for him as far as being able to charge forward and do that initial damage. He has, I believe, the highest health out of all the tokens, but I mean, so it's kind of like, do you want a little bit extra health with the ability to charge forward, which is completely, it goes only at the nearest enemy. It's not random. It does go at whatever the nearest enemy is on the field, which could end up being rats, or it could end up being somebody useful that you want to take out, or it could even be the enemy leader if nobody has anything to play. So, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing going for him really is the increased health, and the charged ability is kind of nice at situationally, not overall. But to me, he's the worst token out of all the tokens, in my opinion, is Space Warrior Token. And so I would put him 4th of the list of top 4 tokens right now in the game. But again, let me know down below what you think of the rating as we continue to go on through this episode. Our next token from the mystical theme and a legendary is Witch Doctor Token. Witch Doctor Token, I wish was better, because I like Witch Doctor Token's charged ability where he drains health from all nearby allies. Now, he drains the same amount of health from all the enemies around him. I don't have the official specs as far as how much health he steals away. I don't think it's equal to his attack damage. I think it's just a standard amount of health that's drained. So if you guys know the answers to that, please let me know down below in the comments section. But he does pull all that energy away. The one big disadvantage of his charge ability is it feels like an eternity to cast. It is one of the slowest casting charge abilities that I've seen in the game. Although it looks kind of cool to have that kind of lifesteal ability to charge away and then it heals him back, but it's so slow. So, I mean, situationally in PvP, you may never ever be able to use it because he'll probably get killed long before he can really get it off. But in PvE, it can be devastating. It can take out a lot of enemies, and I love Witch Doctor Token for that in PvE. He's one of my favorite PvE cards, but just not as devastating to me in PvP because of the fact that the charge ability just takes forever. He has an attack speed again of 2, which is the same as all the other tokens that we've discussed thus far, and 3rd best in the mystical theme right now. And his total damage output is 69 damage per second at max rank, which is the 7th best fighter right now out of all the top, I believe, 15 fighters currently within the game, and is the 2nd strongest total damage per second at max rank of all the tokens. So, I mean, he's got that going for him, that he's a legendary card. He has a higher energy cost at 4 energy, and a legendary card, so he's going to be harder to upgrade. He's going to be harder to obtain. You have to be, I believe, 35 in PvP just to get him. So that, plays at a disadvantage. So I would probably put Witch Doctor Token 3rd in my top 4 tokens. So 4th right now is Space Warrior Token. 3rd is Witch Doctor Token. He's considered a low-tier card anyways right now within the current PvP meta, so that plays against him. So a lot of debate will probably go between Space Warrior Token and Witch Doctor Token, of which is more useful. I still think Witch Doctor Token is a little bit more useful because he has more damage output, and his charge ability heals him if he can ever get it to cast. But, I mean, overall, if we're talking about PvP as far as usefulness, Space Warrior Token is higher up than Witch Doctor Token, and Witch Doctor Token is probably last. But if we're talking both PvE and PvP, I'd put Witch Doctor Token slightly above Space Warrior Token, in my opinion. Again, all of this, as far as the rating system, is all my opinion. It's not fact. It's just how I feel about the way the current state of the game currently is. But with the legendary upgrade buffs, which probably won't happen till March, from what we're hearing, it will not happen in February. Sometime in March, hopefully. Maybe Witch Doctor Token will be a lot stronger, but that only time will tell with that. And last but not least, from the fantasy theme and an epic fighter card, is Rogue Token. So Rogue Token is widely considered to be the best token in the game, and we're going to talk about why, because in my opinion he is. Yes, another fantasy card. Multiple people be like, oh Drew, you only pick fantasy cards as the best cards. This is only the 4th character out of all the characters I've done reviews on that I've considered to be the best tier card is in the fantasy theme. The other ones were Stan, Randy, Kenny, and now Token. Only 4. I've only said 4, even though somebody thinks, oh, I've said all the fantasy cards are the best. I do not think that at all. But this one is the best token. And we're going to talk about why here real quick. So one of the main reasons why he's the best token, fastest attack speed out of all the tokens. His attack speed is a 1.8 attack speed per second, which is the second best out of the fantasy theme. Now there's 2 other cards I believe that are tied with him for attack speed in the fantasy theme, but very high attack speed, much faster, 0.2 better than the other tokens. So not a huge difference, but every little bit helps, trust me. His total damage output is 74.4 damage per second at max rank, which is the 3rd best out of all the fighters within the game, and the best and highest damage total from any token currently within the game. So he does the most damage out of any token. He doesn't, I believe he's 2nd in health behind Space Warrior token. But good damage, great damage output. And he is different from all the other tokens because he has a Warcry ability where all the other ones have a charged ability. So the one major disadvantage for him is that this ability can only be used once, but it would be too overpowered if you could use this more than once. He deals damage to all nearby enemies with his Warcry ability, which mine currently does 132 damage to any and all enemies within the aura of a 2.5 aura range all around you. So if you drop Rogue Token in the right spot, he does an AoE damage that wipes out flying, ground, any unit, doesn't matter what it is on the field. And at 132, which is what I currently have, that devastates a lot of enemies. Takes out a lot of swarm units, can take out... A lot of people use him to counter rats right now. He's considered to be the main rat counter for a lot of people rolling fantasy decks. He's great at taking out a couple assassins if they're near your enemy new kid and you need to just wipe them out real quick. Then, of course, he just becomes a regular ground unit, just walks across the field. But at a 4 energy cost, he's basically a fighter mixed with a spell card of basically a cheaper Arrow Storm and things like that. So, he has definite value. I love his Warcry ability if used in the right time. He's in all my fantasy decks that I roll right now because he's one of the best fantasy cards in the game. I mean, there's no debate about it. Yes, there are a lot of strong fantasy cards. There are only 4 character cards that in the fantasy theme that their best card is in the fantasy theme, and Token is one of them. But again, let me know down below what you think of this breakdown video, if you agree or disagree with my breakdown of the tokens. So Rogue Token, in my opinion, is best. Shaman Token is number 2. Witch Doctor Token is number 3, and Space Warrior Token is number 4, in my opinion, of the tokens right now within the game. But I've enjoyed doing these best of videos. One more for us next week with Dougie. Then I'll probably do a spell, maybe a spell one kind of after that, kind of break down the top spell cards, either next week or sometime this week. But I do plan on doing that here relatively soon. That's been a hot requested video here on the channel, and that will be coming for you guys here coming up. Also plan to be doing some multiple streams for you guys here coming in within the week, including the stream for the giveaway for this week. We did a giveaway last week. We will continue to do that week to week going forward. This time it will be Tuesday, February 13th. So tomorrow, I will try to post this video here today on Monday, but tomorrow we are going to have the giveaway for the weekly prize that will be between 7 and 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you guys can be able to get on that, that would be great. I plan on doing Tuesdays or Thursdays each week, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time in the weeks going forward. I probably will not do it any other days because other days I have other obligations I need to do. So Tuesdays and Thursdays are the best day for me to do these giveaways, do these weekly events. There are plenty of other YouTubers that are doing this if you can't win from myself. Hopefully you guys are able to tune in though and hopefully get yourself some sweet free stuff. But thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Thank you for the continued support on the channel. And until next time, guys, my name is Drewzy.